Cold mud clings to boots as dawn creeps over the forested frontline. The night has been restless, sporadic gunfire, distant explosions, the low moan of wind pushing through broken trees. Ivan Volkov sits in a shallow dugout, his back against damp wooden planks, rifle across his knees. His face is young, but his eyes are older than his years. Around him, soldiers stare quietly, checking weapons, sharing the last crumbs of bread without words. A runner appears with the morning mail, a rare and fragile miracle. Envelopes change hands carefully, as if they might break. Ivan recognizes the handwriting immediately. His breath catches. Elza, he steps aside, unfolding the letter with fingers still trembling from the cold. Her words pull him away from the mud and smoke. He writes about a hospital ward, about wounded men smiling when he reads to them, about the stubborn belief that the war will end and people will learn how to live again. The sounds of the front fade as Ivan reads. For a moment, the war loses its grip. He imagines her voice, her expression, a face he has built entirely from ink and paper. He smiles, then quickly hides it when a shell lands nearby, shaking the ground and snapping him back to reality. A nearby soldier mutters a curse. Another crosses himself. When the letter ends, Ivan folds it carefully and slips it into the inside pocket of his coat, close to his heart. He pulls out a notebook and begins to write back, choosing his words with care. He does not mention the death from last night or the fear that wakes him before every attack. Instead, he writes about the sunrise, about a bird that landed briefly on the trench wall, about how her letters make the world feel human again. The whistle for formation cuts through the morning. Ivan tears out the page, seals the envelope, and hands it to the runner just as artillery begins to thunder again. As he takes his place with the others and moves forward into the smoke, Elza's words stay with him, a quiet promise that somewhere beyond the gunfire, life still waits. The hospital corridor smells of antiseptic and coal smoke. Light from the tall windows falls in pale strips across the worn wooden floor, where hurried footsteps never quit fade. Elza stands by a small table, sorting bandages with practiced hands. Outside, an air raid siren wails briefly, then dies away, as if even it is stirred. No one in the world reacts anymore. A nurse passes her a bundle of letters tied with twine. Elza pauses, recognizing the familiar shape of the envelopes from the front. As she unties them slowly, her heart beating faster with each movement. Ivan's letter is torn, as she reads it standing up, leaning against the wall, lips moving silently as his words unfold. He writes of simple things, sunrise, a bird, quiet moments, but between the lines he feels the weight he refuses to name. A wounded soldier calls out softly. Elza folds the letter and tucks it into her apron before going to his bedside. As he adjusts his pillow, offers water, listens as he talks about home, about a village that may no longer exist. When he asks if the war will end soon, he answers gently, without certainty, the way he has learned to do. Later, during a short break, Elza sits by the window and writes back. Her pen hesitates as he searches for the right balance between trust and hope. He tells Ivan about the hospital, about learning to smile even on the hardest days, about believing in him. She does not write about the fear that grips her every time a list of the fallen is pasted on the wall. That evening, as darkness settles and the city prepares for blackout, Elza helps carry a new trainload of wounded into the ward. Faces blur together, bandages, blood, exhaustion. For a brief, terrifying moment, he thinks he sees Ivan. Among them, her breath stops. Then the stretcher passes, and the face is someone else's. When night finally comes, Elza returns to her dormitory room. She takes Ivan's letter out once more and reads it again by the dim light of a candle. Outside, distant artillery rumbles like an approaching storm. Inside, she presses the paper to her chest and whispers his name, holding on to the fragile hope that their words will one day turn into a meeting that is real. The attack begins before sunrise, without warning. A sudden barrage tears through the forest, shattering trees and throwing earth into the air. Ivan and his unit are already moving, slipping between shell craters as orders are shouted and lost in the noise. The world narrows to smoke, fire, and the sharp crack of rifle shots. There is no time to think, only to react. They reach the edge of a clearing and are met by machine gun fire. Men drop instantly. Ivan dives into the mud, fearing blindly toward the flashes ahead. Someone screams for a medic. Another voice goes silent mid-word. The ground trembles as artillery walks closer, each explosion stealing breath from lungs. A shell detonates nearby, the blast hurling Ivan against a fallen log. Pain explodes through his side. For a moment, he cannot hear anything at all. Wind sound returns, it is distant and distorted, like the world heard through water. He tries to stand and collapses instead, his hands slick with blood. Around him, the fight surges on. Shadows run past, some forward, some back. Ivan drags himself behind cover and fumbles for his notebook, the one he carries everywhere. His fingers shake as he opens it, smearing dirt across the pages. He begins to write, forcing the words out through clenched teeth. He tells Elza that he is thinking of her, that her letters are with him, that whatever happens, SH gave him something worth holding on to. The notebook slips from his grasp as another explosion rocks the ground. Darkness presses in from the edges of his vision. The last thing he feels is the cold earth beneath his cheek and the weight of unfinished words left on the page. Hours later, when the battlefield falls silent, medics move among the bodies, calling out, checking for signs of life. Ivan is found barely breathing, his uniform torn, his papers scattered and soaked with blood. His notebook is lost in the mud, its final letter never sent. Far away, Elza waits for a reply that does not come, and the silence between them stretches longer than any distance they have yet known.